Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and that is the most retro modern vehicle you can buy. And no, I'm not just talking about the graphics. That is the 2023 40th anniversary of the Toyota 4Runner, one of only 4,040 to be made. On this video, I'm going to take you on a quick tour, show you what makes this one so special. All right, gearheads, before we get started with this one, I do want to thank Toyota for bringing this one to me. Opening week of baseball season, you know I got to represent, especially when I'm matching such a beautiful vehicle. But they did bring this to me for a week to review for you. And let's open this hood and see what makes this thing beat. So I did say on the intro that this is the most retro modern vehicle you can buy. And part of that starts under the hood here. We have a 4-liter naturally aspirated V6. No turbocharger, no supercharger, no hybrid powertrain, nothing fancy, newfangled like that. We get an honest to goodness, tried and true 4-liter V6 making 278 horsepower, 270 pound-feet of torque. I believe I got that right. Corrections will be on screen if I spoke and got those backwards, but yeah, there you go. Made it to a 5-speed automatic transmission and routing power to all 4 wheels. This is a very old school, very mechanical way of building a pickup truck, an SUV. And yeah, this will probably be the last year we see something like this underneath the hood of a 4Runner, because rumor has it they're updating them for 2024. And I fully expect some version of a Turbo 4, some version of a hybrid powertrain. Closing the hood, can we just appreciate how awesome this thing looks? This version of the 4Runner has been with us for many years now, and we have gotten slight updates over those years, including updated lights, updated front fascia, things like that. But this thing looks really good, especially with this 40th anniversary package. So what the 40th anniversary package is, it starts off life as an SR5 Premium and then gets a lot of good visual bits. Most notably this bronze badge up here in the front. We get some more bronze that I'll show you in a little bit. And then these retro stripe package, this very cool, very outstanding stripe package that has gotten more looks in this vehicle than the previous 2 4Runners we've had on this channel. Yeah, that's right, we've had 2 other 4Runners of this generation on the channel, and none have gotten the looks that this one has. This is the first non-TRD Pro version we've had, and I think it is absolutely garnering more attention than those 2 TRD Pros did. As we move around to the side, you can see the additional bronze and the additional striping we have. So we'll start right here with the wheels and tires. These are Bridgestone Dueller tires, and they have a lot of good sidewall on them, as you would expect for a vehicle with off-road chops of a Toyota 4Runner. Another thing that makes this such an old school, such a retro vehicle is the fact that it's a body-on-frame SUV. When so many of its competitors are going to a crossover platform, I'm looking at you, Nissan Pathfinder, you can still get an honest-to-goodness body-on-frame SUV here with this one. And then for the anniversary, we get these bronze wheels. Don't they just look absolutely amazing? These things are 17-inch bronze wheels wrapped in 265/70 R17 Bridgestone Dueller rubber. They're okay, they're more of an on-road tire. Again, this is built off of the SR5 Premium platform, not the TRD Off-Road or TRD Pro version. So I would imagine that some aftermarket, a little more rugged tires would make this thing stand out even more. But those bronze wheels though, right? I mean, just look at it. And even this black paint, this is one of 3 paint colors you can get on the 40th anniversary. The other 2 are white and maroon, but there's some metal flake in this one that I'm hoping the camera is picking up, but just gives a little bit of extra vibrancy to this vehicle. And I think it really makes these stripes pop. If I were to get one, I would absolutely get it in black, even though, yes, my jersey is white and has the same stripe package on it. I would definitely get the black one here. These stripes really do set off the side and really draw attention to this 4Runner. Another thing I really like about the 4Runner is its overall boxy shape that has stood the test of time. It gives you these very large windows that we'll talk more about when we're inside driving. So really like the boxy shape. It speaks very well, and it's probably why Toyota sells over 100,000 of these every single year. Yeah, they sell a ton of these. Since we've had this, we've seen so many others on the road, and yes, they're all looking on to see what this crazy stripe package is. Back here in the back, we get the updated taillights that came, oh, I don't know how many years ago, but the Altezza style lights back here that are clear lenses, but you can see we do get incandescent turn signals, LED brake lights. Very cleaned up look back here, and we get a few cues that there is something special back here because we don't get any crazy stripes, but we do get the bronze logos back here on the back, as well as the 40th anniversary badge here on the tailgate. And when you open up the manual tailgate, not power tailgate, you can see just a ton of cargo space back here. Again, going back to the boxy shape, it really lends to how much room is back here in the back. This thing is absolutely loaded with space. And this is all of our luggage, our full 3-piece set, plus tuckers, plus my backpack. If we were to go on a vacation, this is what we'd be bringing with us, and yes, it fits it all back here. You can see, if you look carefully, a 2040 split bench seat here with top tethers for all three positions, and you can fold down that center section all by itself. But very, very roomy cargo area back here, and then you can fold those seats down to get even more space. And before I pull the hatch down, I do want to show just another cue of the anniversary edition, showing all the generations, the silhouettes of all the generations of 4Runner here underneath the hatch. Something that you're only really going to see when you have to pull the hatch down and close it yourself. It is springtime here in East Texas, and you know what that means? The pollening is happening. Yes, my car has been sitting outside for over a week, and you can see it is no longer black. It is a nice shade of pollen, and yeah, not very clean. And then looking over here at this Kia EV6, this has just been out for one night, and we already have a nice coat of pollen all over the top of this one, which leads very nicely into this week's video sponsor. Thanks to our friends at carcover.com, we were able to get a custom perfect fit car cover for my 2013 Chevy Cruze. They know it's important to keep your car protected, and what they sent me was their Gold Shield 5L car cover, which beats all its competitors for many reasons. It resists all types of extreme weather conditions, such as snow, and is 100% waterproof and water resistant. This is the ultimate car care cover for storing your vehicle and protecting it while outside. The soft fleece lining is sure to protect your vehicle's paint and finish while it is underneath. And this car cover was so simple to install, I was able to do it myself for the very first time in under 15 minutes. It comes with a couple clips for the front and the back, and a lockable cable to secure it across the middle. So this car cover is not going anywhere, and it will help me keep all that pollen out here in the springtime in East Texas. Huge thanks to carcover.com for providing us with this Gold Shield 5L cover for my Chevy Cruze. You can get one for yourself. Simply follow the link down in the description below and enter promo code GTGarageTalk in the coupon field at checkout for a discount off of your first order. Before we get inside this one, I do want to show you the key. Typical Toyota key, nothing too special here. Lock, unlock, and panic. You can deploy an actual key, but it is a proximity key, so you can absolutely just keep it in your pocket. The sensors are here, where you can lock it by pressing those lines there, and you can unlock it by pulling on the door handle and getting inside. That is just on the front doors. I will note, if you're trying to load a kiddo in the back, you're gonna have to grab the front door handle before you go to the back. On the side here, some other things I really like about the 4Runner. One thing they do very well is storage in this. So this is probably another reason why they sell over 300,000 of these every single year. Just the clever use of space and storage here. So we've got some storage down here, storage up here. Very nice because all the window controls are brought up here. And yes, you're reading that right. All 4 windows, even here on what is essentially a lower trim of this 4Runner, are automatic up and down. So, you know, I like that a whole lot here at GT Garage Talk. Moving inside, before I get inside, I did want to show you the headrests here on the 40th anniversary. We get that 40th anniversary badge. We get some contrasted stitching here on it. Otherwise, typical leather seat. This one is power adjustable with lumbar support. I will note the passenger seat only goes forward and back and reclines. It does not go up and down. Another 40th anniversary logo is here on the front floor mat, so really wanting you to know that this is something special. But let's get out of this wind, see what it's like inside this beast. We'll go ahead, put our foot on the brake, push the engine start stop button, let that antique 4-liter V6 roar to life. You can see all the animations here. And yeah, fairly antique interior by the grand scheme of things. We actually get analog gauges here, and we do get a very small digital helper screen there in the middle. You can scroll through various different things there, from your attention warnings, your MPGs, and you can see in just under 230 miles, we're averaging 18.2 miles per gallon in this. A lot of that has been highway miles. We've done a lot of highway miles on this, and I'll talk more about how this thing drives in a little bit. But moving across the front, you can see over here we've got your power mirror controls, your gauge brightness, automatic high beams, so you can adjust that right there. And then this is for the power outlet back in the tail end, the cargo area. So if you want to tailgate back there, you can absolutely do that there. And it looks like we've got some heated washer fluid in this one as well, so that's fairly nice. Coming over here, hidden down low under the engine starts up button, we actually have a heated steering wheel. That came in handy for me as I was picking this vehicle up, because it was rather chilly when I got this one. This also has heated front seats as well. So heated front seats, heated steering wheel, that's very nice and very modern. We also have an auto dimming rear view mirror up here. That's modern, that's nice, as is the infotainment, though it's definitely showing its age. So we do get a color touchscreen up here that does have a government issued or government mandated rear view camera, backup camera. It does a fairly good job. I've seen clear, and I've also seen grainier versions of backup cameras. So I like that it's got a little bit of your warning area here with this box, but nothing too spectacular there. We do get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but you're stuck using a USB-A plug up here to interface with that. No automatic climate here. We get manual climate, but again, this isn't all the way up on the hierarchy of luxuries. So yeah, we get automatic climate, and we get an electronic transfer case here. So the TRD Pro versions we had a manual transfer case. You know, I prefer that in vehicles that I plan on taking off-road, but I would imagine that this one is going to see more time overlanding or maybe on some rough pavement than anything else, especially being that it's one of only 4,040 to be made. But that is there if you want it. You also get a passenger airbag warning light over here if the car senses there's somebody over here. I get a little bit of storage up here, 2 cup holders that are interestingly separated and placed. There is a little opening here if you are one of the people that uses an actual mug with a handle, and then this comes out to allow for bigger drinks. So I like that. And my favorite button in the entire vehicle, right here. Toyota, if you get rid of the roll down rear window, let's go ahead and roll that sucker down. That is hands down the best feature of the 4Runner, and one of the reasons why I would buy one over some of its competition, because that, with our standard size, although rather large sunroof here, gives a nice breeze when those are the only 2 things open. And then again, these big windows let in a lot of air, let in a lot of light. It's very nice in here, very easy to see out. Again, we'll talk a little bit more while we're driving. One last 40th anniversary badge right here. It even tells you it's one of 4,040 to be made. So I like that. Get a glove box here that is damped. It is really more of a tray. This is a door that just accesses that cargo compartment more or less. And you close that up very nicely. And then center console is very large, very deep. Again, the storage is done very well in here. You can put some Kleenex up here if you need to. You've got a power outlet down here if you need it, a little spot for change if you need it. So again, Toyota does storage very well here in the 4Runner. And given its boxy shape, it does people space very well. So you can see even with the sunroof, I've got plenty of headroom at 5'10". I've got my perfect driving position here. This is a tilt telescoping wheel. It is leather wrapped. It's rather nice. I'll talk more about that when I'm driving. Let's hop in the back seat and see what it's like behind myself at 5'10". All right, hopping in the back seat. First, I want to open the back door, show you how wide that opens. So if you're trying to get a car seat in, not quite 90 degrees, but still gives you a nice big opening, especially with the boxy profile and shape. Again, back here, you get automatic windows, and the controls are up here, allowing for more storage down here, more storage down here. Again, very good on the storage space here. This is a 40, there we go, I'll get it right, split bench seat. But as you can see, the seat bottom folds forward before the seat back folds down, and you actually had to fold the headrest down to get all that to work, but it gives you a massive amount of storage back here. And with a little bit of a ramp right here, you get a relatively flat storage space. It's really good for overlanding. I think it's why these things are so popular in the off-road community. Can just get a lot of space back here. As I mentioned earlier, you do get a top tether all the way across, but we'll fold that seat up, put the headrest into place, put the seat back down, and we'll hop in behind myself. I will say at 5'10", this back seat is a little bit of a step up even for me, but the driver's seat position is really good for me. I am sitting up higher than I was in the front seat, so very stadium-like seating back here. We do get map pockets on the back of both seats. We get air vents on the back of the center console. We even get power on the back of the center console. Believe it or not, we get modern USB-C ports back here. So that is an interesting touch, especially when you have to interface with Apple CarPlay using USB-A. I already showed you the storage in the doors. If you want to see me install the child seat in this, go check out our family review that drops later this week. And then we have a fold down center armrest right here with 2 cup holders. It does fold all the way down to the seat bottom, so that is not my favorite. I've talked about it in other videos. And then just like up front, we can remove these inserts if you have a bigger cup in there. But this is, you have to kind of slouch to actually use this. So that's a little bit of a downside back here, but I'm not going to be riding back here too much. The sunroof does cut into headspace a little up front, but back here behind me, I've got a nice bit of headroom back here. But like I said, I am sitting higher than I was as a driver, and I can definitely see how I'd be hitting my head on that. But in this seating position, I'm just fine. And then over my hip here, I actually have a lever where I can recline and sit back rather nicely in this. So you can see the center section rides with the passenger side. So on the driver's side, I'm a little narrow here when I recline and have this in the way. I can either fold it all the way forward or recline it with the other side of the seat. But that is a nice option that you have here in the back of the 4Runner. Not only can you fold the seats forward and make a ton of space, but these actually recline to get very comfortable. That's enough talking about the inside of this one. Let's see how this thing performs out on the road. Setting off in the 2023, can you believe it? 2023 4Runner. Get kind of an old school J-type gear selector. I do love that it's mechanical. I don't like all the electronic stuff. Imagine that's going to get updated very soon. Again, I mentioned earlier, strong rumors suggest that we're going to get an all-new 4Runner for 2024. I do expect that one to be hybrid, maybe a Turbo 4, some version of that under the hood. Whereas this is just an honest goodness, naturally aspirated 4-liter V6. And yes, it's rather thirsty without a single 2 leading any digits in the fuel economy numbers from the EPA. It's a rather thirsty engine. You saw in our 230-ish miles of driving, we're getting just over 18 mpg. So yeah, rather thirsty. Being that this is only a 5-speed transmission, it's part of the problem. It always seems to be in a higher RPM than most modern vehicles nowadays would be, cruising at a sub 2,000 RPM. This one's always over 2,000 when you're cruising on the highway. And again, I've had a lot of highway miles on that. And that is perhaps where I have a love-hate relationship with this platform. I really enjoyed both of the TRD Pro versions we had, as you can tell, because both of those videos featured us taking it off-road in our favorite off-road park here in East Texas. Huge thanks to Barnwell Mountain for allowing us to do that. This one I've decided to keep on-road, mostly because we haven't really done that with a 4Runner here on the channel. And this one is geared more towards that with those Bridgestone Dueller tires and all the like. This doesn't have all the crazy off-road stuff that the TRD Pro version does. But with over 100,000 of these vehicles being sold by Toyota every single year, it's a very important vehicle for them, and a lot of them probably don't ever leave the pavement. Again, especially with this one being a rare 40th anniversary version, probably won't either. That means a lot of these are in school pickup lines, a lot of these are doing daily driving duties, and that's where I feel like this thing falls a little short, and where it really shows its age. The driving characteristics of this, I will say I am completely biased. While we've had this vehicle, we were invited out by Mazda to test out their newest 3-row crossover, and if you know anything about Mazda vehicles, they handle sublimely. This one, curvy roads, we're gonna get some body roll in this. And then the nosedive, when you stop in this, the suspension is just so squishy in this vehicle, and is definitely showing its age. You can nosedive in this just by stomping on the brake pedal, and you don't even have to be moving. I could be stopped at a light, let it roll forward, and we're gonna lurch forward just a little bit. The body roll again on this is something that if you typically go down some curvy, windy roads, test one of these on your typical back roads, your typical commute, see what I'm talking about. Not to mention just the suspension being a little loosey-goosey, so too is the steering. Look, I can do this with the steering wheel. The vehicle isn't really doing anything. We're still tracking straight and true. This is unacceptable by 2023 standards. And yes, I know this is really meant to be an off-road vehicle, and I can hear you typing away, take it off-road and it can handle it all. But again, 100,000 of these are sold every single year, and I don't think a majority of them are seeing off-road duty. So this, in a family vehicle, it's a little ridiculous here in 2023. Again, I fully believe that this will be taken care of with a new model. But there's something just so classically nostalgic about this. The big windows, the stripe package that they put on this, the roar of that V6 as it comes to life. There's so many things that are gonna die out with this vehicle when it goes away. And that makes me kind of sad, because as much of a dinosaur and as unpleasant as this may have been on my drive home from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, there's still a lot to like about this vehicle. Again, I can see out so easily all the way around me. Visibility is not a problem. And if it were, I have blind spot monitoring to help me out with that. The mirrors are a good size. The windows are a good size. The dash isn't huge. The back window rolls down. There's just so much to like that it does kind of counteract some of the things that I don't. So if you really want to preserve your own piece of history, if you want a very modern interpretation of a retro vehicle, I think that's right, head on down to your Toyota dealership, snag up one of the only 4,040 of these that will be made. If not, get you a regular 4Runner. Like I said, this is based off the SR5 Premium platform, which is a rather affordable vehicle. As this one sits, it's just over $45,000, and that's not bad for a modern SUV that can do just about everything that is asked of it. And that about does it for me in this Toyota 4Runner 40th anniversary. I've been a bit mixed on my overall impressions of this. I will be sad to see this one not only leave my driveway, but to see this generation of 4Runner bid adieu perhaps at the end of the 2023 model year. If you want to see what my family thinks about this, with Holly behind the wheel and Tucker in the back seat, be sure and hit that subscribe, follow button, whatever you have to do. Comment, ring the bell, let the algorithms know to show you more of our content when it drops. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. All the things are all at GT Garage Talk. But as for me, behind the wheel of the 40th anniversary, a Toyota 4Runner, until next time, gearheads, bye.